Alright, so before I get going here, I need to make something very clear to you. I really like men. I have a love for the good old man, the good old blue-collar guy, the man. I think that it's great. And I also love women. I look at some of these women and I say, my God, look at how we're all getting along. Isn't this great? Like, this is beautiful. I love animals, and I love plants, and I love humanity. And I think that the trans community is a beautiful community. And something that I love about the trans community is that they're honest. The ones that I appreciate have been taught their whole lives to hide themselves, and then as adults come out in their own right and enjoy their lives. It has nothing to do with anything other than that. Now, there have been 2 times in my life where I have where I've felt betrayed, though, by, I guess you could say, womanhood in itself. There was one time where I stood with a woman and had about an hour-long conversation, and at the end of the conversation, this woman revealed to me that they had had a sex change years ago, that she was one of the first people that had had a sex change. And so she had lived 50 years as a woman. Society perceives her as a woman. The minute that she saw that, or the minute she said that, my whole disposition changed, and I said to myself, oh my God, I would not have just said any of these things to you if I knew that. Now, at first I was taken aback and I felt betrayed. But I've also had men do the same to me. I generally wear pretty manly clothes, and unless you're looking into my eyes, you'd probably think I was a man, because I'm tall, and there's been a few times a man has treated me as such, thinking I'm a guy. Hey bro, what's up? And then they look into my eyes and they say, oh my God. Either they respond like, oh, you're a lady, and they change and they get nice, or they feel betrayed. So I had to check myself about why do I feel a sense of betrayal, because really they had revealed themselves to me. And this brings me to the second sense of betrayal that I have felt. I went to a yoga class, and it was a woman's only yoga class. And for some reason on this particular day, and I don't actually ever do women's only things, but this particular time I felt I needed to be with women. And they were like, we're inviting a guy in today. So I felt betrayed by the women, really, because they had the authority to say no to this guy, but he felt like he needed to experience what it was like to be in the women's room. And I didn't like it, and I still don't. I don't see, it's called a women's group. You're not a woman. You don't need to be in it. And when this happens, when this starts to happen, I think of things like sports, and why don't they make a transgender section of all of it, of the Olympics, of the sports teams? And that's because there's not that many transgender athletes. And also, I'm thinking of a girl right now who wanted to just be a football player, right? There's girls who've been in football. They didn't have to have a sex change to be in it. You shouldn't have to have a sex change to be able to do something. If you want to have a sex change because you want to express equality, that's one thing. But to have a sex change so that you can be a part of something is a whole other bag. And I really don't know. I think that the camaraderie is real. Like, women sync up when they have their periods. They have just certain, daily, monthly things that they understand that they have to deal with, just as men do. Like, it would be wrong of me to pretend to know what it means. I have a little boy, and some of the things that I've seen with him, I have no idea, but I don't ask a woman. Either I ask a well-informed woman or I ask a man, what is this about? And so I'm not going to try to teach my son to be about body parts that I don't have. And nor am I going to make him feel bad for not having the body parts that I have. Why would I, that's just not what God intended for us, So I don't know. the inclusion is supposed to be, you have to remember, in all of time, people say things like, and it's true, they're fierce bitches, there's mean women, there really are, that really do know how to humiliate some men, but that is not normal. Like, the majority of people, that the experience of the whole, you say, like, don't demasculinate, I don't think I'm saying the word right, but don't demasculinize a man. Well, don't dehumanize a woman. You dehumanize women. You make them into wives, you make them into bitches, you make them into whores. But what about a human? And women have always been used for a very long time as if you don't give me a girl, I'll kill you. It's pretty fucking weird. And the nerve of some men to act like that's not the reality is what's the problem. So, like I said at the beginning, I look around me and I look at humanity and I look at people and animals and plants interacting with each other. And most of the time I'm in tears of joy because I think it's beautiful. But for the few that like to twist it and get it twisted, no matter what you blame it on, it's not going to be true, because you have to blame yourself, if anything. If you're going to blame somebody about it all, you can't. And it's really not ultimately about blame either. You have to suspend judgment for a moment to make decisions. That's what the process of reincarnation, when we go to the heavenly gates and look at our lives, we're not judging ourselves. We're saying, oh, that's where I went right and wrong. You're not saying, oh, I'm a good or a bad person. You're saying, oh, that's what I learned. And that's kind of what a lot of this is this moment of suspension, not of judgment, just to, is that really what we're going for, or what I'm going for? Yeah, and you could go as far as even, you want to keep it deep, you want to keep it shallow. It's like, when does somebody become a human? Like, when they're able to bear fruit? Like, what makes somebody a human? At what point does somebody become real? And with that said, keep it real. Peace.